Recording is in progress.
Welcome, Christian Metal Group. We're here to do an interview, and my name is Jimmy Sorrells, and I am one of the admins for the Christian Metal Group.
Hey, and I'm Jay Goodwood, aka Joel Lamar, and I am one of the moderators for the group. And together, we're on the leadership team of the Christian Metal Group. Of course, we have about 15 people on the leadership team, and we actually just crossed the threshold of 50,000 members.
I know, it's crazy. It keeps growing and growing. So today, yeah, well, thank you. Today we have sinners to saints here, right? Not saints to sinners. I got that right? Sinners to saints.
Sinners to saints. That's right.
Awesome. Well, y'all, real quick, introduce yourself. Tell us like who you are and what do you do in the band?
I'm Alan Adams. I do rhythm guitar and vocals. And some leads. All right, yeah. Sure.
I'm Andy Martullo. I'm on drums.
All right.
I'm Rod. I play bass and sing.
And I'm Dennis. I just do guitar, lead guitar.
Just do. Okay.
And rhythm. We'll throw that rhythm thing there too.
Right.
Awesome. So
on special occasions in the set.
Yeah. So tell everyone where you're located.
Oh,
I'll tell you. Well, we'll tell you that, and we'll tell you an interesting fact about us. We're from Pittsburgh, PA. We're all pretty much three of us in the same little town called Plum, and one guy about 10 minutes away in New Kent. But we're in the greater Pittsburgh area. But today is actually the second anniversary. It's our second birthday.
Oh, nice.
it actually is. Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool. Love it. Well, one question that we like to always kind of start off with is tell us, and I mean, I know because there's four of you, you don't have to go into like a lot of detail. You can kind of answer however you want, but did you grow up in a religious home and did you grow up in a musical home?
Sure. I grew up in a religious home. We grew up going to a Lutheran church, and we weren't super consistent, I'll say that, but I was brought up knowing who Christ was, and as time grew on, my relationship changed and started walking closer. But yeah, I did. And what was the second part of the question?
And did you grow up in a musical home?
Oh, musical home. Yeah, actually, very much so. I'm gonna be 52 and this year. So, all through the 70s, my dad would play records in his reel-to-reel, and I was fascinated by that. I really from the age of 3 on. But yeah, I grew up in a musical home. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've been in a church basically my entire life. My parents long before me as well. I was raised Presbyterian. We actually formed a new church. It's called Living Word of Plum. Did about 5 years, and I think this year now. So it's the second church I've ever been a part of. So I grew up. Yeah, I've been very blessed that a lot of the people that also I was in my church with growing up, we went and formed a new church, and about 120 people strong now and growing. So it's been very blessed. We got a bright future ahead of us. So definitely a strong faith family my entire life. And as far as music, I definitely grew up in a musical home. I started out playing piano when I was probably 5 or 6, and then I picked up the drums when I was 12. My mom, piano and flute player. My dad, clarinet, and then bagpiper.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
You gonna incorporate some bagpipes in one of your songs?
He already plays in church a lot. Whenever we do he'll do some special events.
We'll recruit him.
Nice. Yeah,
we'll do a little, long way to the top if you want to rock and roll style.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard, like Extol has some violins and stuff. It's ways to make it work.
Yeah.
So yeah, been around music my entire life, and looking forward to keep doing it.
Nice.
Yeah,
About this guy
Right.
here.
I was brought up in a Catholic home
okay.
as far as music. Not so much. I started playing guitar. I was in 8th grade, and just kept going.
Did you have like what was your first guitar influence, like Metallica or something like that, or?
It would be Blizzard of Oz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
So metal.
yeah.
Was that Randy Rhoads era?
Andy Rhodes.
Yeah. Nice.
But
Nice.
when I saw him live, he had already passed, and Jakey Lee was.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of Ozzy was definitely the gateway for so many people for sure. It's all good.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I grew up in can't say, I guess it was a religion. So my mom was a Buddhist. My dad was a
Wow.
Catholic. He never
Oh.
went to church. So yeah, there was a little bit of confusion. I did go to Catholic grade school a little bit and Catholic high school, but I really didn't care anything about any of that. And I became a believer in 1990. It was in my early 20s.
Okay.
So that made a big difference. As far as music, my mom was a huge Elvis fan. She still is to this day. My dad loved music from the 50s and country music. Those were his two loves. But I started playing guitar when I was about 14, I think. And Judas Priest was one of the bands that, I wanted to play everything that they put out. That's
Nice.
basically how I cut my teeth. And all 80s metal. So I'm an 80s metal head.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. 80s is amazing for sure. Okay, so how many of you all knew each other growing up, or how did you all meet?
Mm.
That's a funny story.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's right. Funny stories. Yeah.
We didn't know each other growing up. Rod and I, we grew up in the same town, but we didn't know each other. Dennis and I have known each other for over 20 years.
Okay.
And we were at the same church at Penn Hills Christian Missionary Alliance since the mid-90s. Yeah, I was there in the mid-90s, and then he came in 2002. So we came up together through that church. We were on the worship team together and just developed a brotherhood that we talk, it's fair to say, daily.
Every day. Sometimes 3-4 times.
Yeah. And Andy, I had left Penn Hills Alliance. God moved us along, and I am at Living Word, and that's where I met Andy. And we play together on that worship team, and it's been a real blessing.
Yep.
Nice.
Funny part about it though is that Alan, Dennis, and I live within 5 minutes of each other. And we never met. We never put this together.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Rod, you're only 15 minutes
Yeah.
away.
Such a season as this, right?
Yeah, we lived so close to each other for so many years, and I've been active drumming and everything like that, active in the church and everything, but we never crossed paths until it was kind of an act of God that we met each other when we did. And
Well, and we can get into that, but
Yeah.
with Andy, there's a really interesting story, and we can talk about that.
But it's almost like God has a plan, huh?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to
Yeah.
make them laugh, tell them yours.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a couple of you knew Alan and all, and you. So how did the band actually form?
Before we get into that, let me
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
about the guy
Yeah.
here, Rod.
Go ahead.
I think 2009 or 2010-ish. He had just started singing with a friend of mine, his band called Promised Land. And
Mhm.
they have an album out. So if you look for Promised
Oh
Land,
yeah, I've heard them.
Ruins, you'll find that, and Rod sings on that. Now, for their album artwork, I actually hooked those guys up with Alan, because Alan is a photographer, videographer.
Oh, nice.
So he did their album work, the pictures and the stuff for their album.
That's when we first met. How many years ago, Rod, was that? Like
So that was
9.
2000?
15 years ago.
Yeah. So it was a while ago. So I've known Rod since then, but go ahead,
Yeah.
D.
But so we've all been friends and we've all played on worship. Rod leads worship. We're on worship bands and, you know, played in various different bands and things like that. But yeah, only recently is 2 years ago, as a matter of fact. So we started as a band.
But I mean, so I just want to add to that, you know, this Sinners to Saints band was really D's. I would call Dennis D. So if I say D, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's who I mean. But it was Sinners to Saints was the idea of Sinners to Saints was on his heart for a long time, and I remember him talking to me about it, and you know, I was in the throes of, you know, my work and my family and young kids and all of that, and D said one day, you know, I hope to make this happen, and then 2 years ago it did, and I don't think we were the ones you were thinking of originally.
Well, this guy was.
Yeah, of course Rod was.
Everyone-
Yeah,
And I was hoping Alan would be a part of it.
yeah.
He finally did. And then I didn't even know Andy until
No,
we
yeah.
met in September, beginning of September.
Meanwhile, you knew my pastor.
Yes, I knew his pastor.
Oh,
Again,
wow.
small world, you know, it's just we never connected the dots.
Right.
So as you could tell, what we were talking about, he wasn't our initial drummer. So we had started with an initial drummer. You know, we had to part ways with him, and then we needed a drummer. And Alan, you want to tell that story quickly? It's
Or
the day that we gave him a call.
well, I mean, so
Yeah.
should I get into the deep weeds of
Maybe
it?
not the deep.
Okay, but okay, so
Don't really spell-
I was doing a study, and let me just say this. I mean, our last drummer, nice guy. It's not a personal thing, but we just had a feeling it wasn't working, and you know, sometimes you know you grumble behind the scenes, right? And I was doing a study on integrity and character, and I was by myself and I'm praying. I'm doing a study, and you know, God really kind of whacked me over the head and said, you know, he's your brother, and you're not really having good integrity and character. and we wondered if he was studying his thing, you know, and wondered if that integrity and character was intact. So there was this thing. So I was really convicted, and I talked to D later that day, and we kind of just made the decision. And so we said, well, if we do this, who are we going to get? And I said, well, I've been playing with Andy, and I said, all we can do is call him. And we made a phone call from D's front porch where I went over to talk to him about this, and Andy answered in the middle of a work day.
Yeah.
And within 10 seconds, he said he would do it. And that's how that went down.
I
Nice.
forgot to mention that we had a gig in 6 weeks and I had to learn.
We had a gig in six,
songs.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So Andy stepped in and stepped up, and it went really well, and we're very grateful that he's with us. So
Oh, that's awesome.
And this has been my first experiment with originals. So I've done cover band work before. Obviously, with worship music, I've always done covers. So it was a lot of room to breathe and have some creativity. And these guys, you know, welcomed me in with open arms and basically just said, "Let it rip."
Nice.
and that he did.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's loud.
Nice. Well, let's talk about genre, music genre, and or should I say subgenre? Because you know, metal has like a million subgenres now. What is your chosen subgenre and why?
Go ahead, boys.
You mean what we like, or what? Or our
Oh, as far as for the band, we
Or
can,
like-
we can talk about what you like, but yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get to that too.
Yeah, like if you got a new fan coming to your show, what are they getting? What are they getting?
I'd say hard rock,
Yeah,
Christian,
Rock,
fun.
some heavy metal, like
Rock
we
and
have
roll.
heavily 80s influenced.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, I will say this too, like you know, it can be heavy, but we can be lighthearted. We're fun, you know, and you know, I try to honestly, like I've heard, and I'm not knocking any band, but I
Right.
try to stay away from the dark tones of music. I just in my writing, I tried to not go way deep into that, you know. So but we're very much a live band. I would say more than we're a studio band. And you know, when I'm gonna see, I can be very squirrely, this ADD thing, that they never diagnosed us back in the 80s. They just said we were morons.
I can relate.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
all relate.
go around. So but yeah, I think we're a live band more than we're a studio band, even though we plan on recording. And but it's how we, you know, it's really important to me. And we talk about this, like when we do we'll say a show. I hate to use show. We'll do an event, okay?
Mhm.
And here's the time slot for the event that we're on. It's important what happens before and after as much as
Of
during.
course.
So if we can get in there early and talk to people and meet them where they're at and
Mhm.
ask them about their lives and pray with them and spend time with them instead of just showing up doing a gig and we're off to whatever we're doing.
Mm.
That's really important, and we'll stay as late as we have to afterwards until the very last person leaves. And then, you know, they take this book along, and hey, anybody who wants to write anything they want here, prayer requests, whatever, that's what we like to do, you know,
Oh,
because it is ministry work first. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the heart of the band, I would say.
So that settles the question for all the people is yes, they are a Christian band and they're
Right.
Christians in a band and all that.
Mhm.
Right. That's
You're both.
the age old debate. Oh my gosh. It gets old quick.
Oh God, yes, especially in the group. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
it's like every day.
we love
Nice.
to promote bands that promote the gospel and share the
Yes.
gospel, you know. So so in 2 years, so kind of tell everybody kind of the history since you have formed. So what are some of the shows that y'all really enjoyed playing? Have you recorded music and just kind of give like new fans listening, you know, where you're at and where you've been.
Okay. I mean, so I will say this, there's not a ton to say yet.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, you know, we've played a couple things, you know, and as we were going through with the original lineup, he's been here, since August,
Yeah.
September. It really set us on a different course. And I will say this, the Lord started kicking doors open for us. So what I'll say is that we've been writing for the past couple years, and we've developed a live show fairly recent.
Mhm.
We just did this open for White Cross. We've
Yeah,
done,
I was gonna ask about that.
Nice.
yeah, and we can get into that
Mhm.
deeper, but and we do a thing. We've done a couple things with Teen Challenge.
Okay.
And do you explain Teen Challenge a little bit briefly?
So the ministry is called Teen Challenge. It started in New York City with David Wilk, and he wrote a book called The Cross and the Switchblade. And he reached out to the gang members in New York, Times Square.
Okay.
Well, so
Awesome.
from that, he created a ministry called Teen Challenge for runaways and things like that. But like a lot of ministries, they've evolved, and they're an adult teen challenge. So the one here is Adult Teen Challenge of Western Pennsylvania, and only accept men who are recovering drug addicts. And
Okay.
lots have gotten out of jail, right? Some of it is court ordered that you have to go to rehab. And if they choose Teen Challenge, and they end up there and go into the program. Being part of that ministry and knowing those people, some of the people that go into that rehab, they'll stay on, become interns, and actually end up working. Some of them end up getting their counseling degrees and then work with other drug and alcohol.
Sure.
Yeah, it's an amazing program.
Yeah.
And
so y'all played some concerts for the people in the program.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Nice.
we did that, and
Spend some time with them
Yeah.
outside of the music setting. Just,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
just be with them and talk to them.
But we have some things coming up. In October, we're in the Philly area.
Philly.
Todd Moyer band.
Yeah, we're the Todd Moyer band we're doing a few things with, and we've been in talks recently to do more. And he's even talking into 2025. So we're really hopeful for the future. We're grateful for what God's done in a very short amount of time with us. You know, it says, you know, immeasurably more than we could imagine. And I feel like that's kind of happening. Like this past couple months,
Yeah.
has just been interesting to see. I hate to say attention, but there's been, we'll say, a mild buzz going on, you know, like
Yeah.
it was,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's been really good. It's been encouraging for us, and it makes us want to play well. Like, you know, the psalm says the musicians were well trained.
Yes.
We want to
Hopefully
play.
days of the I'm just doing it for God, but the music really, really sucks is hopefully
Yes.
we're past that.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on, man. We have self-respect for that, you know, so
So
Yeah.
so were any of you White Cross fans growing up? Like, did you know about them in the past?
yes.
All right, so now you got to tell me from that perspective, what was it like opening for them?
Oh, go ahead, guys.
It was fantastic. So what's funny is I saw something posted on Facebook, and it just said any Pittsburgh area musicians, Christian musicians, if you have a band and you want to open up for White Cross in Indiana, PA, reach out to me.
Heck yeah.
Like, this is insane, right?
Yeah.
So I contacted these guys, and everybody was all in.
Yeah.
And the day that the concert was, we actually had planned to do a media day, and we were gonna do some video recording and just try to put together some kind of EPK for us.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, there wasn't much. We didn't really have a website or a social media presence or on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And because of all this, because of that event, we actually started putting all this together to make sure that we was prepared.
Nice.
And it was a dream come true. And once I think the word got out and they saw the marketing, we had a bunch of people reach out to us.
Yeah.
But it was Todd Moyer who let me know that he worked with those guys from White Cross, and they're quality guys and they're nice guys. And you know, was excited for us. And we were excited for it to be there. And it was kind of surreal just being in there.
Yeah.
You know, here comes Rex Carroll, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
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 And,
That's awesome, man. You
Yeah,
always
they-
say I open for White Cross. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll just say they didn't have any ego about them. I mean, they just really welcomed us in and encouraged us, and it was like hanging out with old friends. It was
That's
really
cool.
really a great experience.
One thing you can be guaranteed is Rex is going to get his solo though. That is.
Yeah.
So I saw him last year at Immortal Fest, and they put on a great show. And I'm digging the new lead singer. I think he sounds great. A lot of people like, well, he doesn't sound like. Well, no, he's not. He's different, but he's good.
He's very good, and if you listen to the new album Fear No Evil, it's there's really not, I mean, all the songs are strong from beginning to end.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great listen the whole way
Yeah,
through.
Got it right there. There you go.
Yeah.
You might be a fan.
We are, yeah.
Definitely.
And even fans in a different way, they feel like friends.
That's
you know.
cool.
Yeah.
We made a lot of new friends, a lot of new fans. We made a really good first impression,
That's
Yeah.
all.
and I don't know, it was just a great opportunity. We're just thankful to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
And I do want to give props to Mockcore too, because Mockcore was added to the film.
Yeah.
And Mockcore, they were good guys and good musicians, good team.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that was fun to be part of all that.
Yep.
And speaking of Mortal Fest, we're hoping next year to get for it. We missed getting on for this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Next year we hope.
I'm-
or,
Yeah, Jay and I are both planning to go.
Yes, we're gonna be there.
I think he's going both weekends. I'm coming the second weekend. It's a little bit further for me, but
Oh yeah.
so we're hoping to have a banner and a presence for
Mhm.
Christian Metal Group there with Pastor Bob Beeman. So that's exciting.
Yes, it's absolutely exciting.
If yeah, he's got a surprise. He's actually starting the very first Christian metal museum, like a legit museum.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be where in Tennessee where he lives, right? Where's he at, Jay?
He's in Nashville.
In Nashville. Yeah, Nashville.
Where Rex is at too?
Yep.
Yeah,
We got to
he's
make
out
a
in
road
Nashville.
trip.
Yeah.
Heck yeah,
Really?
it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Jay,
it'd be
what-
great to see a lot of people do that.
Hey Jay, what part of Kentucky? D wants to know where you're from in Kentucky.
Oh, Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville.
that's where my son lives. He just
Oh.
got married. Yeah. He's from Louisville.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'll have to get you guys connected.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Absolutely. I'd love to. Yeah.
His,
Yeah. I'm
his,
definitely-
son, his son's a musician too.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, y'all can do
Okay.
some collaborations.
I know, right? Yo, that's all I do is collaborate with people.
That is true. That is true.
it's like all the time. Been a session.
Great.
But this is not about me. We're okay. So
It can be about you. It's okay.
no.
We're gonna make this the Jay show.
No, it's not. No, never, ever. No. Yeah. So, yeah. So we talk the White Cross. That's just super cool, yo. So, have you all actually done any festivals in your area?
No.
Yes.
Not yet.
Looking to.
We're working on a bunch of things. I think next year is going to be,
The big year for that.
yeah, I think fuller. We've got a few things we're working on for the rest of the year, and we plan on a lot more writing.
Yeah.
Got some things in the tank that we're working on. So, but next year, I think it's going to be the year of things, we'll say.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually had a couple of recording questions for sure. So, first of all, how much music you all actually have out so far, and then after that, we'll dive into the recording process.
Yeah.
That live EP basically out on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how many? Well, there's 4 on that piece.
That are
and-
originals, yeah.
Yeah, and we have a few more that are, we'll say, wrapping up. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, say it.
Stop being so shy.
Yeah, I mean we have
Well, the thing is, it's not really an EP. It's
Not official.
We recorded practice
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
to submit
It's like
Yeah.
live report.
to
Yeah.
the
Okay.
micro.
Yeah.
Eventually, when we get more originals, we'll get into a studio probably with it,
well,
like,
yeah,
practice with it.
sure.
Yeah, I feel you. So as far as studio, so you all are about to record a project, obviously. So
Yeah.
You all like what's your process even with songwriting and then recording? I guess since this is almost a future thing now since you all have yet to record in the studio.
Right.
But, will you all just be like hiring an engineer and doing any of that? If you all have engineers and stuff in your group, any
Yeah.
engineers?
I wouldn't say we have engineers in our group. I mean, we've all been around sound and understand some things, and we can make a rough Logic recording, and everybody can make recordings in their homes, it seems these days. But
Oh, I know.
yeah, we plan on
GarageBand.
GarageBand, hitting some kind of local studio. I like GarageBand. I'm an
Yeah,
Apple guy.
there we go.
But I probably have more things, me personally, about the songwriting end of it than the recording process,
Mhm.
because we haven't hit that yet. Not to be negative about it. We just don't have a ton to say about that because that is not here yet, but it's coming soon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's your writing process like? So, like on the demo and all, do you come in with the lyrics, or do you each come in and with a piece of song? How is that working with the band so far? Is it like Rod comes in and said, "Hey, this is what you're doing"? Is that what goes on?
I mean, he
Sounds
Sounds
can.
about right.
That's out of all of us, that would be it.
You know me well.
Yeah.
We call him the boss.
Yeah.
No,
It's his varied. Like Alan has written songs, Rod has written songs. They're very good about lyrics and
Yeah.
things like that, and obviously the music piece. But so, for example, the one song that we do is just a riff that I've been playing for 20 years, just like a warm-up riff.
Yeah.
And enjoyed it. We made a song out of it.
yeah.
It's called The Call. That's our
Yeah.
worship to get.
And it's funny how it became The Call, because we didn't have lyrics for it. And there was one part of the song where, you know, I'm kind of a scatter. I scat things when I'm fleshing out the melody line, or, you know, and there was one part of the song where we were saying, yeah, you know, and then it was like, oh, you think about the syllable of that, and well, Yahweh fit really well in there. And so we started that Yahweh, Yahweh. And
Yeah.
then it just kind of hit. And while we were practicing, why don't we make this our call to worship? So then, you know, we're like, okay, so this is going to be a crowd participation song. And man, is it powerful, and it works really well. And, you know, I talked early on about how I don't like to go too dark.
Mhm.
There is one section of that song, we call it the Black Sabbath section. And we land there just for a very short amount of time,
Couple bars.
and then we get right out. You know, we get
Nice.
right out, and then we're back up Yahweh, you know. So
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite songs to play. I mean, Dee played that riff all the time, and we got used to hearing it, liked it. Why don't we write something with that, you know? And it's man, it's such a great crowd song, and
Awesome.
I can't imagine how it's going to grow and morph and change as time goes on. I just have a feeling.
I will
That's
say-
really interesting how songs form like that. I just saw a Disciple last week, and he was talking about the song Executioner, and he says, you know, it only took me 8 years to write it because he didn't have a chorus for it or whatever, or music, you know, that he wrote 8 years ago, and it just never, you know, because when you write an album, you may have 10 or 15 songs, or I don't know, you know, that don't fit on it, and so
Right.
years down the road it forms into something else. So that's very interesting. I'm
Yeah.
sure Jay's had a lot of experience with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll say so far we've been pretty lucky. And I hate to use the word lucky. We've been
Blessed.
very blessed and
Mhm.
fortunate. Yeah, the songs have come quickly. You know, for example, there's one song that it hit my heart. It's called 30 Pieces. And it's about the last 24 hours of Christ's life. And I like to paint a picture with music and words. I'm a visual guy, being in photography, so it's really interesting how those things play well together. But it's, you know, there's a few parts in that song, like, after singing it so many times in practice and the things we do, it's an emotional song, and the way that it's presented, it has, I'm saying it from a humble place. It has a power to it, you know, where I hope that it makes people reflect.
Yeah.
You know, that they do enjoy the song, but they reflect on what the message is being brought forward. So 30 Pieces is a really special song. And that song it was really kind of done in 10 minutes. Honestly, it's like one of those, okay, it's here, get your pen out and write like mad,
Sure.
and whatever, you know, the riffs start coming, and
Yeah.
it's a really wonderful tune. And that's how we opened the White Cross show, with that song. You know, just hit them with the truth right across the face.
That's awesome.
I will say one more thing about The Call.
Okay.
That's usually the song that gets everybody singing, and it's usually they're singing it after the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stick, Brad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Yahweh refrain, man. You know, yeah, it does stick.
That's been cool to hear.
You're right.
That's really interesting. I think that your mission to create positive music is definitely it's something that's been missing in a lot of, well, music overall, really.
Mm.
I think that, a lot of times we do tend to focus on negative, and I think it has its place for sure. But I do think that, I was just talking today in the group, when I was talking in the group earlier, Jimmy, about the fruits of the spirit.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of people, a lot of Christians tend to miss that. It's almost like if you're too positive, you're seen as wimpy nowadays. Like a lot of Christians feel like they have to be tough guys, or whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like love, joy, and peace. Like what a foreign concept in music. You know what I'm saying? Or enjoy, like joy in music. Like what the heck? But it's literally one of the fruits, those are literally fruits of the spirit. Patience, long suffering. So I definitely have to applaud you all for actually, looking into things like that and writing songs like that.
Yeah.
The other stuff has a place. Like I love I love some of the angry stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we
I'm
do
a
too.
death metal guy, like more than anything,
You're a death. Yeah. It's funny. I didn't grow up listening to the death metal stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
about as heavy as I went, back in the 80s would maybe honestly be like on the Metallica side, we'll say. I mean, that might sound cliche, but
Oh, no, totally.
bands like Slayer, they kind of scared me, or they made my spirit feel strange, and I
I
kind
feel
of
it. That's
got away
fair.
from yeah.
Absolutely fair.
And that kind of never left me, so
Yeah.
No, that's
Your shirt Electric Jesus. That was the hardest thing I listened to in the 80s.
yeah.
But no, that's totally, like for real. Like, I guess music definitely took a turn towards negative. I mean, obviously, a lot of music was birthed out of struggles.
Mhm.
I think about like blues and stuff. Like a lot of,
Right.
most rock came from blues, and that was
Mhm.
totally music about struggles for sure. But I think that understanding the answer to those struggles is important when it comes to well, I guess what we all want to convey. It's like the reason that we even have this group, you know.
Sure.
So yeah, I just think that's super cool. Okay, I'm gonna ask a Sweetwater question since since he has his shirt on. It's like, yes, went there, got the shirt. Yeah, you order a lot of stuff from Sweet.
I was actually, so I travel a lot for work. I was driving out through Indiana. I had to go up and see a customer in Fort Wayne.
Mhm.
And I was like, I knew they were in that area, and I'm like, well, my customer that I was seeing was right next door. And I saw the sign. I was like, there's no way it's right here. This has to be the warehouse or something. I'm like, I'll just take a peek down. Nope, it was Sweetwater. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna hop on in. I got plenty of time here, and before I hit the road back to Pittsburgh. They were the nicest people there.
Yeah.
The best part is that I was talking to the guy on my way out, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm heading back to Pittsburgh. I got a long ride." He goes, "Oh, hold on a minute." He opens up a drawer. He takes out like a big thing of candy, and he goes, "Here, you're gonna want this for the ride."
Wow.
All the little Sweetwater packs of candy. They always give you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
stuff to
yeah.
go
Wow.
home.
Dude, that's totally cool.
Yeah, I am in no way sponsored by them. This is what I threw on today.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool. I think that's a great story too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Andy, what I got a couple questions for you. What's your favorite song to play live?
From our band or just in general?
Both.
Yeah, both.
I really enjoy The Call because it's just goes up and down. It's a emotional roller coaster of a song, to put it lightly. I mean, like I almost say, I mean that song is talking about the last day of Christ's
What do
life.
you mean 30 pieces?
I say 30 pieces.
You said The
thank
Call,
you.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I meant we were talking about The Call, and I meant to say 30 pieces. That was on my mind. But that one's an emotional roller coaster, to say the least. I like playing that one because I'm in and I'm out. I'm playing loud, I'm playing soft, and like we said, we got a breakdown in the middle of it. But from a more contemporary, I don't know. I always my influences were really 90s kind of punk rock.
Yeah.
It's kind of my more contemporary feel. So, like I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but
Some better favorite covers.
That's a good one. We do a Striper song that we cover. Sorry, it was one of their newer
Oh,
ones.
yeah, yeah.
So that allowed me to kind of rip that more kind of punk feel because it's a driving song. But yeah, my influences definitely came strongly from that 90s and 2000s kind of pop punk, you
So
know.
so that leads into my next question. Who's your drummer influence? Like, is it Thomas Barker or who's
Keith Moon from The Who.
oh, nice. Okay.
Interesting.
You're going old
Yeah.
school. I like it.
Going old school. One of the first, so when I started growing up and getting into music, my dad, he was in college in the 70s, grew up through the 60s as a teenager. So he was just an encyclopedia of music for me. And he really got me influenced into some of this. And he put on a Who song one day. I'm like, these drums sound pretty interesting. And that's when I started diving into it. And I'm like, wait, these guys smash their instruments at the end of their songs. This is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Nice.
And then you start listening to like how Entwistle links up the bass, and then just Roger Daltrey just
Oh,
rips
yeah,
at the vocals. I mean,
for sure.
they were really one of the most influential early bands for me, just because of Moon's style. But the weird part is, and this is kind of the kicker. When I started drumming, I didn't want to be a set drummer. I was very adamant that I wanted to be a marching drummer. So I actually marched at Penn State while I was there. So I marched all 4 years, but I was like a snare and tenor drummer. I never was like, I'm going to get back into set. It wasn't until COVID that I kind of dug my set back out and started playing and getting back into it. And I've been really hitting it hard now, pretty much for the last 5 years.
Literally hitting it hard.
Yeah.
He is bombastic.
Right.
So-
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, I definitely have a, long history of classic rock influence.
Okay. That's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. Yeah. So, what are there any new bands, like especially in Christian music, that you all are like digging and listening to?
I'm a big fan of Disciple and Demon Hunter, personally.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
That's heavier. I've gotten really into the heavier metal stuff probably in the last year to 2 years.
okay.
In part from these guys, in part my girlfriend loves Metallica and loves metal, so I
Cool.
kind of
Well, you better
hopped
keep
on that
her.
train when I started dating her.
Yeah, you better keep her.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah,
I
good
don't know
metalheads
about you,
are hard.
Memphis Mayfire.
Yeah,
Memphis Mayfire, right? Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Those are all, all elite bands, whatever.
if we're going that route too, my favorite probably metalcore band out right now is probably August Burns Red. I went to a
Oh,
drum clinic with
so
Matt
good.
Groener back in August, and
Amazing.
that I was starting to like metal, and then it was when I really saw Matt play, I was like, I'm done. This
He's
is
a genius, dude. He's like super genius.
he's
Now,
the
we-
nicest guy in the world, and he's a
Yeah.
super devout Christian, and
Yes.
it was just wonderful meeting him.
So you being a drummer, are you familiar with Ted Kirkpatrick with Tourniquet? That's one.
Yeah, Tourniquet. Familiar with the band? I'm gonna be quite frank. I haven't listened much to them at all.
I mean, just as a drumming aspect, I would say, man, he's top
Yeah.
notch. He was
Yeah,
top notch.
definitely. Yeah, check him out for sure. So
I saw them at a festival and they rolled his drum set out on the drum riser.
yeah,
You could not see him. Like
Yep.
he could roll all the way around. You could not. I mean, it was
Right.
insane.
right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, great
kinda
stuff.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have, I will say this, they have a big variety of albums. They do have a classic rock EP.
Yeah.
And then they also have an acoustic album. I'll say start there and then just like build
sure.
up to like the really heavy thrashy
Yeah.
stuff.
And
Sounds
and,
like Mangini's drum set from Dream Theater when he was touring with them for the last 10 or so years.
for sure.
Yeah.
And-
Oh yeah, Mike man is great. I was just listening to some of their live stuff a couple of days ago.
Oh,
And he's so solid. I think
yeah.
Portnoy may fit the band better because his drumming actually he just has personality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As a drummer, sometimes just being distinctive and having a personality, especially something as signature as that for that band, I think it works. But I think as far as skill level,
Oh,
yeah. Mangini, he definitely brought the skills, and it was such a joy to hear his interpretations of those songs.
Yeah.
I was blessed to be able to go to a Mangini clinic actually just a couple of months ago.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
I actually I got to give a shout out to the store here in Pittsburgh, Pianos and Stuff.
Mhm.
They're probably the best store in Pittsburgh in my opinion. I mean, bought my first drum set from them when I was like 12 years old. But
Mhm. Wow.
Matt down there is really good about getting some top-notch guys in for drum clinics. So that's where I saw
Mhm.
Griner, I saw Mangini,
Mhm.
some great talent coming through there. So again, that helped influence kind of where I'm going with the
Yeah.
sound,
Okay. Cool.
and because I'm listening to all types of new music that I never listened to before.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
Alan and Dennis, what newer bands are you into?
Good. D.
All right, so I wouldn't say newer bands, but like when I became a believer,
Mhm.
music became more important to me because then I realized that you can actually do this for Christ.
Mm.
Yes.
And started discovering that's the first time I heard Skillet. Skillet when they first came out were a big influence. 1,000 Foot Crutch, POD.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Look,
love
man.
Seventh Day Slumber. I really do love Seventh Day Slumber a lot. Cutlass was big for me.
Yeah. Cutlass is great live for sure.
Third Day was fun. I used to really like Third Day.
Oh,
Oh
metal.
yeah. Third Day is really cool.
Yeah, and the band Delirious. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah, I know Delirious. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I got a CD somewhere around here.
Yeah.
CDs. Yeah.
Pastor's my buddy, but we went on a road trip to see it was a free concert in an armory. I think it was in somewhere in Virginia, West Virginia.
Mm.
And it was Delirious, and they had a band called Tree 63 that
All right.
opened up,
I remember them too. Yeah.
and I remember that was a great time.
Nice.
So those are the bands I love and love to listen to, but I'm still an 80s metal.
Yeah. Hey, metalheads listen. It's okay to listen to other things.
And
And we do.
love
Yeah,
Extreme.
we're a big
I love
Extreme fan
Extreme.
too. Yeah.
And Striper, you guys love Striper.
Striper.
Well,
The old one,
Striper is
the
big
old
for
one.
me, and
Yeah.
You got the battle van back there.
I do have the battle van here.
Apparently, somebody's a Crash Test Dummies fan. I see on the wall there.
That's me. This is my music room.
Okay.
And I've loved the Crash Test Dummies since they hit the scene.
Nice.
But-
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Striper, Blood Good, Baron Cross. What's the or Holy Soldier? Holy Soldier.
Holy Soldier. What you would think about their grudge when they did grunge? What you think about that?
I really love that album.
Me
Yeah.
too. It's my favorite of theirs, actually.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
it's fantastic. Is
Yeah.
it the Promise Man?
Yeah, Promise Man. Absolutely.
That was I think that was my introduction to that band.
Really?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, I know I hear a lot of hate about it, but it's kind of like the Metallica Black Album. That was the
Yeah.
first
Oh,
one I heard.
absolutely.
I mean, I love the other stuff, but that was my introduction, and I loved it, And here, so actually in high school, I did a skit to what's the cover song that they do on there? It's Why Don't You Look Into Jesus?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a great song.
I did like a choreography or something to it. It was funny. Yeah,
Well,
no, I dug that album for sure.
oh yeah, for sure. I think because Striper and like some of the bigger bands were so huge, what I'm saying, like Striper and White Cross and maybe Sacred Warrior. When Holy Soldier came along, Stephen Patrick is an amazing vocalist, but I was just like, oh god, here we go again, more 80s metal. So I just kind of like ignored it, maybe. I think I got into that era maybe later a little bit more, but when Promise Man came out, I was like, okay, yes, this is what I was,
It's a very good album.
Totally different sound.
Yeah, we love it.
People
Yeah.
either love it or hate it, that's for sure. But yeah,
yeah, there we go. Yeah.
it's kind of like Tourniquet's Crawl to China too. I mean,
Oh yeah, oh
I love that.
absolutely.
I love that album. I actually played one of those songs in our wedding. So
Oh yeah. Sure
That's
thing.
great, man.
Yeah, so let's so Rod, I know we haven't talked much about, we've been talking about music stuff, so let's talk about bass influences.
Mm.
Basses tend to get overlooked a lot of times, so we're going to talk about bass for a second, man.
Tell them about the new one you just got.
So what do you?
Let's talk about your bass first. Yes, let's talk about this new bass, and then we'll talk about influences.
Yeah. I got a Spectre
Mhm,
NS Dimension.
mhm. Cool.
Go. Yep.
And it's gorgeous.
It
You,
is.
you have it around?
Let's put it.
That's in my car.
Okay, no worries, no worries. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, take a picture of it and send it to us. We'll put that.
It
up
looks
there.
it looks like a shiny red piece of candy.
It's yeah, it does.
It's,
Oh man, no, that's cool though. So as far as bass players, you know, I mean, like even you know, we talk about drum heroes, even in Christian music, you know, Ted Kirkpatrick and all these others, and you know, guitar heroes, but it's very rare that we hear about bass heroes for sure. You know, I mean, Steve Rowe from Mortification was definitely he was like the for years, just like Kirkpatrick, like he was the favorite bass player for HM Music Pole for years. And I think Wolf from PLD finally, I mean, not Wolf, but Trey from PLD upseated him.
Oh man, Trey's so
So,
good.
yeah, after all, he's so good. But yeah, like, so what about you? Like, you know, who are your inspirations, like bass wise?
Gosh, that's a great question. Because I'm a guitar player.
his
This is
Rod's
the first band that I'm playing bass in.
Really?
he's a multi-talent guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very talented.
Yeah.
But gosh, bass players. I mean, Doug from Living Color, he kind of
Oh, Doug is crazy.
he's
Oh, He went in Living Color. I was thinking King's X, but that's good too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Both
We
of those.
just saw King's X
Saw King's X and
well, Living Color
Living
opened
Colour,
for
Extreme.
Extreme.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Do you guys know much of Extreme? Not to get off of him, I just want to share something.
Yeah.
I mean, a
Listen
little bit,
to
yeah.
the first album, Watching and Waiting. If you don't know the song, it'll blow your mind that they wrote that. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous song about
Yeah, they're really good. I know they're
watching,
guitarists.
waiting, son. It's about Christ on the cross. It's pretty amazing.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I remember seeing Extreme like on Headbangers Ball back in the day or whatever. But I know that their guitarist plays for Rihanna for sure, and he's crushing it.
Nuno, yeah. I don't think he's doing that anymore, but yeah, he did do a short stint.
It's amazing some of these the journeys that these metal musicians that are have
Mhm.
been on. Like the what's the basis for Striper?
Oh yeah,
Perry.
Perry Richardson.
Yeah, Perry. Yeah,
You know, he
was
he
in
was
Firehouse.
he was in Firehouse, which is actually from the Myrtle Beach area, South Carolina. He's local to me here, but he has toured with some of the most famous country singers for years before he joined Striper.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I'm sure he made a killing doing it too. But
yeah. This is interesting. You talked about Doug on bass from Living Color, Doug Wimbish or whatever. This is there's a guy named Hubert Powell. He was a like Christian jazz pianist and very influential to me for sure. And also he was a pastor. He died like about 2 years ago, and he actually used to be in a band with Doug.
oh wow,
Doug showed up at his memorial service and played a few songs with the band from church.
Wow.
did you get to meet him?
I didn't know. I wasn't there. I was watching online, but my friends, like some of my really good friends, Hubert had two sons. He has two sons, and both of them are amazing musicians that I know well.
Mm.
Nice.
I mean, they're some of the top gospel musicians for sure. Just
That's
insane.
awesome.
But yeah, like I said, I was just surprised. And then, of course, one of Hubert's sons named Doobie, he actually ended up featuring Doug on his on the album that came out right after that. So I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, Doug's on a couple of Christian albums.
So
Amazing bassist.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about one of the new bands that I've discovered. And it's
Yes.
with all this stuff. I had a guy reach out to me on Facebook. His name is Brian Carmen, and he's a guitar player, and he has a band called We Are Resolute, and they're
oh, I've heard of them.
a
Mhm.
Christian metal band.
Yeah.
He recorded stuff, and he was very fortunate enough to get Dale Thompson from Bride to be
Nice.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, that must be where I've heard of them because we interviewed Dale and
Yeah, we
he
did.
was talking about all the projects he was on.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I've definitely seen that band posted and stuff. So
Very-
so
Right.
let's start. Let's go ahead and start with Dennis, and we'll go around. Just tell us your top 1 or 2 concerts, like favorite. Can't believe you saw it. What's your favorite shows you've seen?
Okay, and I don't want to sound cliche, but I am not kidding that I think this White Cross had a big impact on me.
That's fine. Yeah.
No, that's totally cool.
It was pretty phenomenal. But if we go back a little bit, I do want to say one of the best concerts I saw. I did see Stryper before I was a believer, but in a small place here in Pittsburgh, and it was for the Hell with the Devil tour.
No.
Mhm.
Oh, the original.
Yeah, and that
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Do you remember who opened for him?
I don't know. I don't remember.
So the first time I saw Stryper was their 30th year anniversary.
Same here.
Hell with the Devil. And they played the whole album. It was incredible. But yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing.
One of the other fantastic concerts I've seen, believe it or not, back in the day was King Diamond.
Okay.
Yeah, he put on. Well, it's actually not too long ago. It was the 30th anniversary for Abbey.
Okay.
And the King Diamond, he had just gotten like a year or two before open heart surgery.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was pretty critical for a while, but then he made a comeback. And that was a really phenomenal concert because they did the first half of the show, they did the entire album. And then the second one, they were doing even old Merciful Fate stuff.
Mm.
So did you approve of Michael Sweet taking a picture with King Diamond? I'm joking. That was
I saw that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was that one. Let's just say they got a lot of comments in the
It
group.
was so controversial.
It sure was.
You would
Take
swear
a
they were like
picture?
torn together or whatever. I mean, they were literally just at the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Rod.
Gosh, I'd have to say, what was it last year? We just saw Stryper.
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, I mean, they just still sound great.
Yeah.
A lot of people think their last 4 albums are better than some of the 80s stuff. I mean, I
They're
like
so powerful.
Yeah.
that the song Yahweh is amazing. I mean, yeah, I love all their stuff, but
Yeah.
My first concert was Kiss.
nice.
Can't go wrong with that.
No.
Right. Exactly.
I'd have to say my most memorable, because I went to this concert to hear the opening band, which was Queensryche.
Oh,
They opened for Def Leppard, and man, that concert just blew me away.
that's all. I mean, back in the day, they would book anybody. That's amazing that Queensryche opened for Def Leppard.
Mm.
Yeah, I've seen Queensryche, but of course it wasn't. It was Todd, their new lead singer.
Mhm.
But I'm going to see Def Leppard for the first time.
Amazing.
Def Leppard, Journey, and Steve Miller Band. I'm pretty
Oh,
excited.
wow.
Why not? That's a good one.
I'd go see that.
Saw Steve Miller
Like
Band
this
actually.
Sunday,
Wow.
this Sunday's coming up. Toto's in town.
Oh,
We're
wow.
going to see Toto.
Oh, nice. That
I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
I would have gotten tickets with you.
That was a secret.
No. I'm a big Steve Lukather fan. I love
Oh,
Steve.
absolutely.
yeah. Is it his son's like really famous? I think for
Such a-
producing movies and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I think
I think his, I don't know, one of his kids, I think it's his son married the keyboard player from Journey's daughter.
oh wow,
Yeah, that's
crazy,
yeah, Jonathan Cain's daughter or something. So they're kind of related through marriage, but
nice.
you know, and I'm gonna share like a guilty pleasure. Like
Yeah.
Rod and I are big fans of yacht rock as well.
Okay, what is yacht rock? Like what is that?
Well, yacht rock is
Air Supply.
70s,
like 70s
80s.
soft rock classics like Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald and
Chicago, maybe.
Gordon
Yeah.
Lightfoot.
a little of that.
Lightfoot,
Little
yeah.
bit of band, yeah,
So still better than country. Gotcha.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's actually a great segue into what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go for it.
Oh,
Which concerts?
Well, you just came from one.
Your
I don't know
fav-
if
your
it was
favorite.
more memorable.
Yeah. Adam and Alan, what was your favorite concert that you've seen?
my most memorable concert was my very first one when I was 6. I went to see the King of Country, was George Strait.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
yeah, George Strait's. I mean, he's straight out of Texas. You know, whole,
Speaking of country, huh?
yeah, country. You know, it's the kind of stuff that you hear on a hardwood floor at a honky tonk. You know,
Yeah.
2-minute songs, and that was most memorable to me because it was my first concert, and he was fantastic. I still remember sitting in the crowd with my dad back then. But one of the best concerts I went to in the last couple of years, though, was and it's kind of surprising even to me because there was no drummer part of the band, was Billy Strings.
Okay.
Guy's just a ridiculous guitar player
Yeah, he's very good.
doing bluegrass. I mean, all they had was a mandolin, a double bass, him playing guitar, and a fiddle. That was it. And
No
they
drums.
just no drums. That's classic bluegrass, no
Yeah.
drums.
For sure.
And he was just ripping it. I mean, he's one of the best guitar players probably like my generation right now because he's kind of in my age range. So just amazing show.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So we kind of have a large spectrum of music choices. In
Yeah,
our
but
band.
that's good. I mean, to be eclectic and all, and it influences the band.
It's important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. If everybody only listened to Striper or something, I mean, your sound wouldn't be what it is, probably. You know.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I got one more musical question, then we'll.
But
get-
Alan, what
Oh,
was your-
Alan, dude. I don't want to
forget
forget you.
Alan.
No, I mean, listen, Striper, when we saw Striper, that was my first time seeing them. I didn't have the opportunity before. That was a fantastic show, and just, man, to watch them do what they do live is just phenomenal, and they just keep sounding better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the most memorable show for me, and that I waited forever for, was I got to see McCartney really close.
Wow.
And that was big. That was so big for me because growing up, you know, my mother was such a Beatles fan, and believe it or not, I knew what a Wing was before I knew what a Beatle was, you know.
Yeah.
And I was crazy about the album Band on the Run when I was like
Yeah.
5, and my grandmother bought it on 8-track for me and would drive me around in her car, and you know, so that was pretty big for me.
Half of the audience has no idea what an 8-track is.
My parents still had one in our garage growing up. So in the summertime, my dad would throw his old 8-tracks into the stereo in the garage.
Yeah.
I have
It's-
one. I have a working 8-track here in this room right now.
Whoa. I
But
do not.
D wanted me to share. I did have an opportunity. I did a job out in Las Vegas this fall in October, and I got to be right up front at the Sphere to see U2 do what they do at the Sphere in Las Vegas. And
Okay.
memorable. That was really fantastic. I mean, if
Yeah.
you ever get a chance to see a show there, it's kind of, I don't want to say life changing, but you know what I mean. It's just you're seeing things like you've never seen them before. So
That's
you know,
awesome.
it was powerful. They were great.
All right. So actually, I said I had one more music related question, but I have two, and I'm gonna just ask both of them together. Number one, will there be any twin guitar leads on the album? That's number one. And then number two is, as far as you all playing live, do you have a bucket list venue that you want to play?
Mm.
Wow. Geez.
We do have a bucket.
All right, what is it?
We do want to open for Striper.
Yeah. Well, that's a bucket list show we'd like to do. But you're talking venue?
And we are
Yeah, venue. It could be venue or band, like any of that. But yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead,
very
Ron.
much
Say it. What was it?
Immortal Fest next year.
Oh yeah, we would love to play Immortal Fest.
I
Yeah.
think we want to do some of this.
So if Striper's listening, we would love to open for you. And Mortal Fest, we would love to be a part of that next year. Yeah.
Cool.
I was just out at the Fillmore over the weekend in Detroit. And man, was that a really, really cool place to see a show. So
Mhm.
Fillmore's pretty
Yeah,
fantastic.
Fillmore's really dope for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as far as venues, I'm not so sure. I can't think of.
I think we were more attached to bands that we'd rather
Yeah,
play with.
Mhm.
that like I did.
We'd like to do Creation, whatever.
Yeah.
What's that called now?
Agape.
Agape Fest.
Oh, I didn't realize they changed the name.
Yeah, so that,
They sure did.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
growing up and hearing about Creation from,
Mhm.
my uncle, and it was just, yeah. So that'd be fun to do that.
I mean, a lot of bands are doing the smaller venues now anyways.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, as far as dual leads, sure.
To be determined, right? TBD.
Yeah, it's either gonna be dual from our Helix board, or we will take the time to work it out. But since I feel like this question has become a challenge,
Uh-oh.
so I say yes, we will do one just because
Make-
you asked.
We're making
we'll do it.
history right here.
I
That's
love
right.
it. I love it.
All right, D,
It'll be James
we,
Solo.
we got to do one. We're gonna call it. We'll put Day in the title somehow.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's awesome. What
I
else?
like
You got it.
questions.
Yeah. What's you got another question, Jay?
All right, so my last question, and then I'll let you go on and close it out, is what is your favorite thing about being a Christian?
Mm. Wow. Okay. You care, guys?
I can go.
Go ahead.
So I was 22 when I accepted Christ, and like I said, I grew up a little bit confused. My mom was
Mhm.
Buddhist, dad was a Catholic who never went to
Mhm.
church, and in my home there was like a 5-foot statue of Mary, and
Wow.
then like a 2.5, 3-foot statue of Buddha, and my mom burned incense on it and everything. So yeah, so nothing really mattered to me, basically, and especially, anything that had to do with religion. Even I went to Catholic school. Nothing had an impact on me. And then when I was 22 years old, I heard the gospel for the first time, and it really had an impact on my life. So now, over 30 years later, I've been a Christian longer than I've not been a Christian. So my life
Praise God.
drastically different. And that's one of the things I cling to. And, like a lot of people, I've gone through some difficult times and some challenges in life. And, like Peter said, when Jesus said, are you going to leave too? But it's like, where else am I going to go? What else is there for me?
Mhm.
Except for Christ. So just knowing that he is in my life and I have a relationship with him is more than I could ever, expect or imagine. And he's been gracious to me, especially with music. He's given me a lot of excellent opportunities,
That's awesome.
experiences that I love. So that's my answer.
Yeah.
That's such a interesting question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that in my life. It's funny, like favorite thing is really hard to answer because there's so many things.
Mhm.
Knowing that, when I fail, when I fall, like that I can be redeemed, I'm forgiven, I can come to him as I am, and pour my heart out before him, and he loves me, and he died for me. And that, the sanctification process of being transformed by the renewing of your heart and mind, is it's an awesome journey, because you learn something new. It's not like you become a Christian and well, that's it, and this is great, it's constantly eye-opening. Even reading the scriptures, like you can read the same thing tomorrow and something new comes out of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's wonderful. It's wonderful to walk with men like this. That's one of my favorite things. I love being obedient to the Spirit's movement, and he puts somebody in your life. Like one of my morning prayers is like, all right, Lord, I have this photo shoot to do today, but what's today really about? And I call them slow reveals, because I'll forget that I prayed that, and then something will happen in the day and I'm like, oh, that's what this is about. And he kind of brings the curtain back, and then you kind of say, the photo shoot don't matter. This person, whatever's going on is what it's about. And so those are some of my favorite things, and just that my relationship continues to grow with them, and I want to go where he's leading. And I always say I don't know where my life's going, because he's still writing it, and he's still doing it. So there's a lot for me, there's
good.
not just one favorite thing. So
Yeah.
I hope that makes
Oh.
sense.
That's cool. No,
It's your own answer. We can't.
absolutely. Absolutely.
No, very me.
Yes. Let's see.
I can go.
Dang.
So my probably favorite part about being a Christian, besides, obviously meeting, as Alan said, people, like-minded people that are on the same page and taking the same walk through life with you. Is just knowing that even on those bad days, there's always tomorrow. You have God backing you up. You got great support system backing you up no matter what. And if you just look internally to the faith, it's there. You're going to get through it.
Mhm.
If there's any stress in my life, even just a quick prayer, throwing it up, get me through this. I always get through it. It always, no matter how rough things are going in life, Christ has always figured it out for me and helped me through it. And all you gotta do is believe in it. And if you do, it's just an amazing feeling, honestly. But obviously with the music, I firmly believe that, I want to keep taking the abilities that I've been, given by God, that I want to keep, moving his word forward with it, so my other favorite part, to kind of two-part this one, sorry, but was being able to have that ability, and being able to be in that position to bring, the word of God to people, through his, the talents that he's provided. So it's just a really amazing feeling.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Dang. I said I only had one more question, but I do have one more question.
We're
And I'm gonna let Jimmy wrap this up. This whole hilarious.
No,
But-
it's all good.
oh, we have huh?
Look at Rod, yeah. Sorry.
Go
All
ahead.
right.
You're
Here we
not
go.
getting that easy.
All right. So
Go ahead,
my,
boss.
my last question is: do you all have any questions for us?
Hmm.
Um,
Well, what do you want to answer, Rod, first?
yeah, we need to hear Rod's favorite thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, let's hear Rod, dude. Rod, we cannot forget the bass player, yo.
You mean the ball?
They think bass player's forgotten.
What did y'all say? He's
Like Jason
Yeah,
Newsted.
There's 1,000 memes about the bass player who's
Yes,
forgotten.
exactly. It's
well, yeah,
like,
y'all call him the bossy bass player, right? Is that
the bossy bass player. Yo, edit that out. No, no, we're good. We're good. Go ahead, Doc.
For me, I am blessed and humbled to be able to lead people into the presence of the Lord every weekend.
He's a worship leader.
I work at my church.
Mhm.
I'm a worship leader, and I don't know how many times I will ask the Lord why he would choose someone like me. But I take worship very seriously, and I don't know, it's just a privilege to take people along on that journey to the throne room as I'm worshiping. I mean, I'm not
Right.
performing, that's my time of worship as well. So, I'm grateful for that.
That's
I
awesome.
love that. That's a super cool answer.
And then Jay put me on the spot. He said, "Did y'all have any questions for us?"
Right.
Well, I'd like to know how you guys ended up meeting and putting this.
It's all through the Christian Metal Group.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead and I'll talk. Yeah.
Well, so I have my friend actually started this group. He lives about an hour south of me, and I think it was like 12 years ago.
Mhm.
And he is no longer on social media at all. Actually,
Okay.
just saw him recently at the Disciple concert.
Mhm.
So I stay in touch with him, but he's not on social media. So he just kind of handed it over to me in a way, and it started growing. It was just a little Facebook group, and I found Vickers, which is in South Africa, and he became an admin, and then Andrew from Australia, and it's just grown from there. We have I think there's 18 moderators now across the world, literally from Canada to Norway to Australia, the UK, and all over the US. It's amazing. And we just connected through there. I guess the idea came up about doing interviews. It was very organic because the whole group is developed into a legit ministry, which is pretty awesome. We have ministry partners. We promote the bands. Our whole goal is to promote bands that promote the gospel and especially even unsigned bands. I mean, everybody knows Demon Hunter and Skillet and all, but we want people to know bands like yours. So this just developed very naturally. And I think I was asking in the group chat that we have for the moderators, and I guess from my memory, I guess Jay was the only one that responded, and so
Yeah, I was for a while.
and so it's just been us doing the interviews. I mean, anybody else is welcome to do them.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how it worked. So,
Yeah. And
Well, you guys do a nice job.
Yes.
well, I appreciate that. We've actually haven't met in person yet, so we
right,
we
we will soon. Immortal
Fest.
Fest.
Yes.
Immortal
Yep,
Fest.
Immortal
So
Fest.
for me, I joined the Christian Metal Group. I think it was either in 2013 or 2014. So it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
I was in one of the first groups that I became a part of, just Facebook groups overall, was a gospel musician group. Like just a bunch of gospel musicians. And we we discussed all kind of stuff, but I was definitely looking for something that would connect me to the metal community, the Christian metal community. So it was definitely one of the first groups that I joined. I joined like another group that like kind of focused on CCM music. So yeah, it was just a few people at that time when I joined, but it definitely grew. And then I was just kind of like, I mean, I was always in the group, but I was kind of in and out of like having conversations. But I think once the pandemic started, and I guess everybody was in the house, so the group started growing. So many conversations came out, of course, even about the conspiracy theories and just people being bored in the house. So like the group was just growing like crazy. So of course, like he already said, they put out the call for moderators and administrators. And it's funny, the person that I probably had the most interaction with on the leadership team was Vickers for sure. And honestly, we were actually going back and forth because we disagreed about quite a few things. So it's almost like part of my reason for becoming a moderator was really just to get to know more about him. So that I think that even though like we clashed like crazy, but I think once I joined the moderation team, we actually became pretty close.
Yeah.
And I think we were able to find some common ground. And I think at the same time with Jimmy, we also discovered that we had a lot of common ground. We have, obviously we have some disagreements like everybody else too, but I think that we were able to talk like through so many of those disagreements and just kind of, figure out each other's perspective and stuff. And I think that also spilled into our interactions within the group with people. And from there, the subject came up of interviews. So I think we tried a few different things with interviews. And it seemed like me and Jimmy, we had a lot more chemistry than like maybe anybody else, honestly. Man, we probably also had more time than anybody else because we're both like indie, business owner type of people. So
being entrepreneurs are good. We have a little more control over our schedule and all that.
mhm.
And we both like he is a living a musician. I mean, for a living, so he makes music all the time. And I've been in the music scene, booking and promoting bands, and we just have a lot of connections and all that. So it just really worked out. And where we're at now, Vic has built the website. He doesn't really have time to maintain it, so now we have a guy coming on in Texas that is going to help us do updates and all that. So it's just amazing. And because Pastor Bob was our very first interview, through that connection, now we're going to actually have, be able to have a presence at Immortal Fest, which is, I mean, just kind of like wild,
So beautiful.
I had one of my friends here locally. I paid him to, do our logo and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, it's all volunteer, but a little at a time.
Yes.
So,
It sounds like God is working and blessing your ministry.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, it's so cool for sure. Just to, like I said, that's really honestly, especially, I'll put it this, I have 2 Facebook pages, and I really started focusing on the J Gill one more because my other one got full, and this was before people started just having the, just the business page or whatever. So, I really literally focused my Facebook page on connecting with Christian metal musicians. Now from there, it's grown. A lot of people on there now, like Record Academy members and whatever else. But my focus was literally just to connect with the Christian metal community. Like I said, I do all kinds of music, but it's just something about Christian metal that really it just speaks to me more than anything else musically.
And here's a fun fact too. Jay and I actually both love Christian hip hop too. So
yeah, we both love Christian hip hop too. For
so
sure.
we're I mean, I listen to just about anything but country. I love Johnny Cash, but I love some hip hop, and I love some metal. So and a little bit of everything in between.
That's cool.
So
yeah, we're widely influenced as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the last question is, how can the Christian metal community help your band? What can we do to help promote you?
I mean, you've helped us tonight, and I think, now we're friends, right? And we'll stay in contact,
For
and
sure.
we can reach out to you and let you know when we have something new coming up if you'd like. And I'm not a big social media person. I should probably do more, especially running my own business. But we can definitely stay in touch with you. And let you know. I mean, is there anything you want to add to that?
So I want to say, since like the word got out that we were opening for White Cross,
Right.
a lot of people have just reached out to us.
Yeah, it's
Community.
been a while.
Even with Todd Moyer,
Yeah.
there was an event we were going to be part of with him, and then we both kind of talked through it, and I think we both ended up, Todd Moyer and us, ended up pulling out of this event.
Yeah, a
But
lot
it
of
was
people
like,
did.
he was looking out for us.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate, the men that we've met so far through all this,
Yeah.
who are doing it as well. And there's more of it's a brotherhood,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, and we don't have to say it here, but I wanted to say it. You were asking us questions for you, and probably where I would land for you is, how can we pray for you guys? As a band, pray for you and your ministries. You don't have to say it now, but you in Facebook Messenger, how you've talked with us, you can put it in there, and
That's awesome.
we will do that.
That's the most important thing. I really appreciate that, for sure.
Yeah, we'll commit to doing that. So,
That's awesome.
we have to lock arms and stand in a gap and
I know that's right.
together, you know, and we can do that even though we're in different towns.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and I can say this too. I mean, y'all are a fairly young band and everything, and if
Yeah.
there's any connections that Jay and I can help you with, I mean, between the two of us, we have a lot. So if you're
Sure.
going trying to put together a tour, or you're looking for a producer, I don't know, whatever, it could be anything.
Sure.
Sometimes even if you're looking for a place to stay, like
Yeah, absolutely,
like that has happened
Do
before.
that, yes.
for sure. Yeah.
We'll have a camping trip.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I mean, and Jay does all kinds of music, so you know he lends his services to all kinds of genres and stuff.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Very interesting.
We
Awesome.
couldn't ask for any more than that. Thank you.
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Well, thank y'all so much for your time.
Yes,
Y'all go
absolutely.
check out Sinners to Saints. I'll put all their contact information here on this video. And you ready for some gospel hard hitting hard rock? If that's what you're
Sure.
looking for, you got it, man. So
Yeah.
great. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate everything.
Blessings to you all for sure.
Thank you guys.
God bless
Thank you
you.
so much.